On the domestic commodities market space, we are looking at soybean. Soybean happens to be the 7th largest cash crop produced in Nigeria with total output of 730,000 tons. Well, let's look at its value chain and the impact of the recent price movement on the commodity. Aisha Bello from Financial Derivatives Company joins us now. Hello, Aisha. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jim.
So soybean is easily the 7th largest cash crop produced in Nigeria. Total output at 730,000 tons. It is mainly produced and consumed in the states like Benue, Kaduna, and Niger. So what is the value chain of soybean and who are the beneficiaries of this output in terms of employment and export revenues?
Soybean is processed into both industrial and non-industrial uses. It is processed into soy milk, soy oil, soy flour, and it is also processed into livestock feed. The major beneficiaries of this commodity in terms of employment revenue are the companies that use this commodity as processed commodity for use in for final consumers. In terms of the export revenue, the government need to address issues that are constraining the production of this commodity, such as by providing improved seedlings and varieties. This will boost the production of our production of soybean, as well as increase our export revenue.
So what are the nutritional benefits of soybean consumption? What segments of the Nigerian market benefits from these nutritional attributes, and who are Nigeria's major competitors in the production of soybean?
Soybean provides an inexpensive source of protein. It has about 36% protein, 30% carbohydrates, and about 20% fat. So the protein content is comparable to meat and egg. They are like ice. They have high source of protein. So it is highly nutritious. Almost all segments of the Nigerian market benefit from this nutritional attribute, because for babies, for instance, we have soy milk. It's like a substitute for natural milk. And for adults, we have soy flour, we have soy oil. So like almost all the segments benefit from the nutritional benefits. Our major competitors are firstly United States, because they account for about 36% of global output, followed by Brazil. In sub-Saharan Africa, South Africa is like a major competitor because it's the largest producer of soybean in sub-Saharan Africa, followed by Nigeria, followed by Zambia. So these are the countries that are our major competitors.
All right, so what has been the impact of the recent price movements of soybean, which has decreased by 4.20% in the last 6 months, on the financial fortunes of companies such as Olam and Flour Mills of Nigeria that use soybean as an input? Also, what is the outlook for the share price of these companies in the near term?
The recent US-China trade war got escalated, and this really weighed on the price of soybean, the international price of soybean, because US, like I said earlier, US account for 36% of global production. They're like the largest producer of soybean, and then China is the largest consumer of soybean. So, and they account for 60% of they import about 60% of US soybean output. So the low demand for US soybean production output really led to US supply glut in the soybean market, and that led to the decline that we saw in the soybean prices. In terms of the decline in the soybean prices had no significant impact on the financial fortunes of companies such as Flour Mills and Nestle, because they have diversified revenue streams. They have different revenue streams, so their profitability really had no significant impact on their profitability. In terms of their share price, we've seen the share price of Nestle decline by about 14% year to date. Likewise, Flour Mills of Nigeria, the share price has declined by about 45% year to date. but we expect, despite their improvement in their profitability, but we expect the share price to improve in the long run because of their backward investment in backward integration and then investment in high profit margin businesses.
All right. Thank you, Aisha, for your time. Aisha Bello, one of the research analysts with Financial Derivatives Company. And for Equities Market Update, here is Edidiong Ewan. Hello, Eddie. Good afternoon. So bring us up to speed with today's trading activities. At intraday, we saw a 0.35% drop on the index.
Good afternoon, Jimmy. Well, the market is south as we speak. We're down about 0.58%, and we've hit a new psychological low of 26,932.15. We've seen just about 135 million shares worth 4.7 billion naira traded so far. Now, out of the sectors we track, 4 have posted losses, except the oil and gas, which is still unchanged at this time. We've seen the consumer goods is down the most by almost 1%. The financial services sector, that's the banking sector, and the insurance sector, are also down by 0.58 and 0.53% each. We've seen Unilever posting losses down by 10%. Stanbic Bank is down by almost 10%. EcoBank Transnational is down by 7%. WAPCO, Dangsem, a lot of the banking names and the insurance sector, insurance names have posted losses at this time. We've seen a lot of activity around Transcorp, GT Bank, Fidelity Bank, Access Bank, but with the way things are going, to me, it is very unlikely that we're going to end today's session positive. But then that's just on the side. Greenwich Alpha Exchange Traded Fund will be listed on Monday the 19th. Now, this is an open-ended exchange traded fund which tracks the NSE 30 index, and that constitutes of 30 of the most liquid and capitalized stocks on the exchange, Chimezie.
All right, thank you, Eddie, for the market update there. Uganda's central bank held its key lending rate at 10% today and said economic expansion had slowed in the first 2 quarters of this year, but higher credit growth and public infrastructure spending is still support its prospects. It is the 5th time in a row that the bank has held the rate steady. And the International Monetary Fund says South Africa's public debt, which is approaching rating agencies' red line of 60% of economic output, is reaching uncomfortable levels. Public finances in Africa's most industrialized economy are under strain as growth has proved weaker than expected, and a clutch of state companies have needed large cash injections. In July, the government said it will give power utility Eskom 59 billion rand of additional financial support over the next 2 years, on top of an already promised bailout of 230 billion rand spread over the next decade. And Africa's largest money manager, the South Africa's Public Investment Corporation, sees significant investment opportunities in West African gold mining as the industry at the southern end of the continent declines. Analysts say investor-friendly policies can help Ghana and other countries in the region drive the next gold mining boom. Low-cost deposits in Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, and Ivory Coast offer the long-term investment potential the PIC prefers, rather than the 5 to 10 years lifespan of projects in South Africa. Well, that's a wrap on the program. Thank you for watching. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwagu.